is somebody who wishes to put some question to the candidate.
Julius, yeah.
Commissioner Malema.
Thank you, CJ. Judge, is it an acceptable thing that, maybe let me put it differently, that we have observed a huge temptation to capture the judiciary, especially from the executive and politicians who want to use their judiciary to fight their political battles. And all of us without fail have gone all out to protect the judiciary against politicians who want to capture it. Will it be an acceptable thing that some NGOs here must capture judiciary to serve their own interests because they are not political parties? Is it acceptable that if it's not political parties, it's okay that these NGOs must capture the judiciary?
Commissioner, I think the position is very clear, which is that it's critical that the judiciary should be independent and beholden to no one but their oath of office and to the Constitution, and they should be captured neither by politicians nor by NGOs, but simply do their duty as independent judges.
Now, my second question, Judge, is, does experience count for anything for you? Like, do you think it's necessary for people to get an experience before they assume certain responsibilities permanently? And let me take it further that, do you still hold the same views you were holding before you acted in the Constitutional Court, or you think that your acting actually helps somehow to put you in a better and a different position?
I think experience is always helpful. I think we have had examples of very, very good judges who have had little or no experience and discharged their judicial functions with great distinction. But it is always helpful to have experience, and I'm particularly grateful that I have had 2 years on the Supreme Court of Appeal and have now had the opportunity to act in the Constitutional Court. I don't think, in other words, that you can never have an appointment without the requisite experience, but I think that it is helpful, and it has been helpful.
And will you agree with me, Judge, that acting and acquiring an experience is so helpful that it will even empower you to a point where you don't make minor mistakes, especially at that level of the Constitutional Court, because that is the highest court where you cannot afford to make minor mistakes. And part of the things that would make you not to make minor mistakes, it is acquiring an experience.
Well, Councillor, I'd say this, that I'm afraid human error is part of everyone's experience, and no matter how long one pursues a particular career or a particular line of engagement, you can always make a mistake. We're all fallible, we're all human, I am, and we can make mistakes, and we have to acknowledge that, and it's true of everybody. And if I've made a mistake, it's not because I believe I lack experience, it's because everyone can do so from time to time.
Judge, I agree with you, we are all going to make mistakes, but that is not my question. My question is, acquiring experience, especially when you go to the Constitutional Court, helps you not to make minor mistakes. Underline minor mistakes.
Yes.
There are certain things are ABCs of the Constitutional Court. And if such minor mistakes are committed at a constitutional court, you'll destroy the image of that court. And once you destroy the image of that court, you destroy the confidence of our people on that court. And once our people no longer have confidence into that court, it will lead into the state of anarchy. So I'm saying, do you accept that experience will help you not to commit minor mistakes, not mistakes, minor mistakes?
I don't accept your proposition. I don't think that the kind of experience one gains, important as it is, ever prevents a minor mistake from being made. These things happen from time to time, and if they do, they're regrettable, but I also don't accept that because what you've said is a minor mistake, if it has been made, somehow that leads ordinary people to suddenly lack confidence in the constitutional court or the judiciary at large. People recognize, as they do in every walk of life, that people make errors, and as long as those errors are corrected and acknowledged, then there is no threat whatsoever to the institutional integrity of the courts or any other part of our constitutional structure.
You know, it is minor mistakes that ordinary people will appreciate. Those legal jargons and whatever arguments you make there, we may not be able to pick them up. But once you start engaging in minor mistakes, then that court is going to be flooded with rescission applications, and it will be forced to change its own decisions. And once it starts changing its own decisions, it suffers image crisis and confidence crisis, and that leads to our people losing confidence in that court. Will you agree with me?
Councillor Malema, I can't agree with you. Rescission is a very particular kind of procedure, and it has been resorted to more often of late. But there are very few instances in which courts make errors, but if they do, they can be corrected, and they should be corrected, and I don't believe that it leads to this wholesale lack of confidence that you suggest.
My last question is, does seniority count for anything for you? I don't know anything about law, and I'm not a lawyer, but every time I go out with lawyers, CJ, and then we go to a dinner or something, they say the senior counsel must pay because he's the most senior person there. And that they always accord respect to that senior because of that seniority. Then there will be judges. I heard JP saying earlier on, he thought he was the most senior in the room and all of that. So you've got this tradition amongst judges and by extension, lawyers, and by extension, judges who respect seniority. And it's not only in the legal fraternity or in the judiciary, it's also in the church, where you can't join judge. Today you get baptized. The following day you ask the question, where are the pastors sitting? After being baptized, you give yourself some time to familiarize yourself with the processes there and allow the seniors to take you through and teach you. So my question is, does it really, seniority, does it matter to you? Because I'll tell you why I'm asking you this question, Judge. I respect you very highly, and those who are in my legal battles respect you very highly. Some of them nominated you. But I've got a problem that and you can see that we consider you very highly. We appointed you and you are being given opportunities to act and all manner of things. But you are in this hurry to a point where you even want to pass the people you found in the judiciary and go and lead them at the constitutional court. Why can't you give yourself time? You are now acting. Earlier on when we interviewed you and told you about acting, you had a different view. Now you are acting. Can't you give it some time to continue acting and accumulate the necessary experience? Then this argument of seniority and minor mistakes and experience will fall off, and you assume that position properly without anyone having questions. Seniority, does it matter really to you?
Yes, Councillor, I don't think we value seniority just for the fact of seniority. We value seniority because it sometimes represents cumulative knowledge and experience that can be usefully brought to bear. And that's sometimes valuable, and we take account of it for the reason of its substance, not simply because it is a rank that has been attained through the passage of time. I think in my case, it's a question of how the Commission and yourself assesses the fact that I have had a very lengthy career at the bar, in which I have done a great deal of constitutional work over a very long period of time. I have had experience across many areas of law, and I have acted in a judicial capacity in the WTO for some 8 years. And it's now a question of whether there has been enough further experience within the South African judiciary that would suggest that I can make a contribution. I believe that I can, and I'm happy to further explain what that contribution would be. But if it is the case that you or the Commission at large takes the view that it is only sitting judges who have sat for 10 or more years, well, then you will announce that policy and people will know where they stand. And speaking for my position, I will then become too old to ever assume a position on the Constitutional Court, and I will not be able to make that contribution. But that's a judgment ultimately for the Commission to make. It's not one that I can. I believe I have cumulative experience of some value to a contribution I can make at the Constitutional Court, and if I'm given the opportunity, I should love to do so. But if that isn't the requisite combination of experience that counts for the purposes of appointment, well, then I will accept that, and that is how things will be.
Thank you, CJ.
Thank you,